It's a great pleasure and very appropriate that we're able to welcome today the Honourable Kirsty Duncan, who's the Minister for Science and Sport. Now, she herself is a researcher, so I think she can very much understand and relate to a lot of the discussions that we'll have today. And she's also a medical geographer. Minister Duncan was an associate professor at the University of Toronto and the former research director for the AIC Institute of Corporate Citizenship at the Rotman School of Management. And I think it's fair to say that Minister Duncan is very clearly an advocate for diversity and inclusion in science. And as a minister, she has already taken measures to change the landscape of science in Canada so it's open to all. So please join me in welcoming Minister Kirsty Duncan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. How are you? I want to say what an honor and privilege it is to be here today. President Emery, from the moment you walk into this hospital, you feel that this is a welcoming place, that this is a warm place, that this is a place of healing. And I want to recognize the central role that this hospital has played in Toronto's history and in our country's history and in serving women. So thank you. And I too would like to acknowledge the land on which we gather, and we thank the Indigenous peoples, the Wendat, the Huron, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit, for allowing us to gather today. Paula, thank you for your kind introduction. It is an honor and a joy to be here. And to all of you, I am deeply honored to be here with so many esteemed women leaders, whether it is our high school students, whether it is our researchers who work at the university, our researchers who work with the community. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for the contributions you make. And let's have a round of applause for the Women's Exchange as it celebrates its 5th anniversary. Je suis hâte d'être ici avec vous pour ton 5e anniversaire. If there is one thing we all have in common here, we know that science matters, research matters, and having diverse ideas, perspectives leads to stronger research. Yes? Yes. As you heard, I'm a former researcher. And I spent 25 years of my research career fighting for more diversity in research. In a global competitive world, we can't afford to leave any of our talent on the sidelines. We need more Indigenous women. We need persons with disabilities. We need people who come visible minorities. And we have to include the LGBTQ2 community. And since taking this role, I have made this really part of my vision. And I was told, oh, you can't do women in science. This would not be a good idea. And I said, you can't ask me to take on this role and not do women in science. We need your smarts, we need your ideas, we need your perspectives, and we need you to drive change. Ces changements ont été soulignés ce matin pendant une annonce nationale pour les chaires de recherche du Canada. Just this morning, I announced funding of over $156 million for 187 new and renewed Canada Research Chairs. These are our prestigious research chairs. And what's exciting, my friends? 43% women. And this comes on top of this past summer, we announced the Canada 150 research chairs. And we invited people from around the world to apply. We have about 25 of them who've come to choose Canada as the place to do research, and 60% are women. This is real change. One of the first things I did in this role is I brought back something called, it's got a terrible name, the University and Colleges Academic Staff Survey, UCAS. It's a StatsCan survey. It had been canceled by the previous government, and I was determined to bring it back. And people said, why? I said, I need the data. I want to know, are women and men progressing through the academic ranks at the same rate? Are they making equal pay? I now have that data. I've also put in place new equity and diversity requirements for our most prestigious research chairs. And one of those prestigious research chairs is the Canada Research Chairs Program. And back in 2006, the universities agreed to make voluntary targets around women, Indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, visible minorities. So I checked the data. And in many cases, we were doing worse than we were in 2006. So I said to our university community, by this past December, you have to put in place an equity and diversity plan for your institution, and you have 2 years to make your voluntary targets, or I will consider withholding peer review, and that means withholding funding. And what you've seen is now those numbers are changing. 43% women this morning. So that's a big change. But our work, as President Emery has said, is far from done. So now we're working to bring the Athena Swan program to Canada. This was a program started in the United Kingdom to help increase the representation of women in STEM fields. We're going to bring it to all our institutions, our universities, our colleges, our polytechnics, our cégeps, to make sure we have equity and diversity. So, to the tremendous leaders here today, to the women, when you choose science, when you choose research, you make history. So please continue to ask the tough questions, whether that's at the university, at the college, in your community. Ask those tough questions. Continue to challenge the status quo. We need your smarts, we need your ideas. We need you to challenge the status quo and push past stereotypes. Take time to dream your greatest dream and never apologize for it. And on the hard days, when there are challenges, I call challenges speed bumps like in the road, you have to figure a way over them or around them. And on the hard days, know there's one more person cheering for you, and know that impossible is a dare. I dare you, because when we add women, we change the world. Merci.